The ping started before sunrise. Screenshots in the group chat. Green days. Funded accounts. Someone flipped a small account into a month's salary overnight. Lucas stared at the glow on his monitor and felt the familiar tightening in his chest. He told himself he was just gathering data, but he knew the truth. He was measuring his worth against a stranger's equity curve. He had a plan for the day. 3 setups. Fixed risk. Walk away after 2 trades. But 10 minutes into the open, a message flashed. Caught the breakout. Plus 4R. Who else? Lucas felt heat in his face. He hadn't even taken a trade yet. He forced an entry he didn't truly see, moved his stop twice, and watched a small loss become an embarrassing one. Not because the market was cruel, because comparison had already taken the mouse. Lucas wasn't a rookie. He'd read the books. He journaled. He knew his system made money when he followed it. But on social feeds, everyone else seemed to move faster, size bigger, exit cleaner. He wasn't trying to beat the market anymore. He was trying to beat other people's highlight reels. He had a ritual he never told anyone about. Late at night, when the apartment went quiet, he'd reopen the platform and scroll through leaderboards, prop firm payouts, monthly rankings, screenshots framed in neon arrows. He told himself it was motivation. It felt like a slow poison. The more he consumed, the smaller he felt. The smaller he felt, the more he chased. The more he chased, the more the market punished him. And the punishment confirmed the story he feared most. Maybe he just wasn't enough. It wasn't always like this. Before trading, Lucas wrote advertising copy. He was good at it, clear, concise, persuasive. But copy had a ceiling. Trading promised freedom. No bosses, no meetings, no approvals. Just you and the chart. He laughed at that now. There were bosses in trading. They lived inside his phone. They posted their wins every hour. They didn't sign his paycheck, but they owned his nervous system. The breaking point came in a funded account evaluation. Day 8. He needed one more green day to pass. His plan said, wait for confirmation. The chat said, you're missing the move. He entered early. It snapped back. He doubled down to get it back. The drawdown rule tripped. Evaluation failed. Lucas closed the laptop, put his head in his hands, and stayed there until the room went dark. The next morning, he walked to a coffee shop he hadn't visited in months. No screens, just a notebook. A woman in a faded navy hoodie sat at the corner table, marking up charts by hand. He recognized her. A quiet, consistent trader he'd met at a local meetup. No online persona, no screenshots, just steady results. Lucas told her what happened. He expected advice about indicators or risk-reward tweaks. She slid her pen aside and said, "You can't win a game you're not playing." He frowned. "I'm trading the market." Avery shook her head. "You're trading other people's stories. And every time you do, you step out of your own edge. You think it's discipline, but it's identity. Pick who you are, then make rules that protect that person." She tore a page from her notebook and wrote 3 lines. For 21 trading days, no social feeds, leaderboards, or P&amp. L until the session ends. Trade only 3 instruments. 3 setups. Fixed size. Track process, not outcome. Score yourself on rule adherence, emotional state, and setup quality. That's your new scoreboard. Lucas laughed softly. "A detox? A fast," she said. Not to punish, to hear your own voice again. He tried to talk his way around it. What if he missed news? What if he lost his edge by not knowing what others were seeing? Avery smiled. If your edge depends on strangers posting screenshots, it's not an edge, it's a craving. Day one of the fast felt like quitting caffeine. He kept reaching for the phone. He kept wondering what everyone else was doing. With no feed to tell him who he should be, the room felt bigger and quieter. He saw his first setup in the second hour, an A-grade pullback. His hands shook. Not from fear of loss, but fear of missing what others might have already found. He entered, managed it by the book, and took a clean profit. The money felt smaller than usual. The relief felt larger. That night he gave himself a new scoreboard. 3 numbers out of 10. Setup quality. How closely did the trade match the written plan? Emotional state, green, yellow, red before entry. Green means neutral to calm, yellow means elevated, red means triggered. Rule adherence, percentage of rules honored from pre-trade checklist to exit. He was shocked by the first week's pattern. His P&Amp L was choppy. But on days where his process score averaged 8 or above, the losses were tiny and the wins were cleaner. On days he dipped below 6, he bled, not just money, but self-respect. He started to understand what Avery meant. Consistency is character expressed under risk. On day 5, temptation returned dressed as urgency. The open whipped wild. He didn't see his setup, but he felt left behind. His finger hovered over the buy button. Then he remembered a line he'd written on a sticky note. If it's truly my edge, it will appear again. If it never appears again, it was never mine. He exhaled and waited. 30 minutes later, the chart printed exactly what he was trained to see. He took it. It paid. The real win was the 30 minutes he didn't trade. He still slipped. Midway through the fast, he broke Rule 1. Out of habit, he opened the chat and saw a trader post +9R morning. The comparison surge hit like electricity. He rushed an entry. It failed. He rushed another. It failed bigger. After the close, he stared at his journal and wrote, "I outsourced my identity to a screenshot." It stung to see it in ink. It also broke the spell. He circled the sentence and wrote beneath it, "Never again without a timer." From then on, he placed a 2-minute delay between the idea and the click. It didn't make him slower. It made him honest. He added 2 more rules. The 30-120 rule. No trades in the first 30 minutes of the open. 120 seconds between signal and execution to run the checklist. And the 3-chart diet. Only EURUSD, ES, and gold for the remainder of the month. Familiarity lowered his blood pressure. He stopped needing to be everywhere. He started seeing deeper where he was. On day 13, he learned something uncomfortable about himself. He had always believed comparison came from insecurity. But what drove him wasn't just fear. It was pride. He wanted to be seen as the guy who caught the move. Pride, he realized, was just fear in a nicer suit. Fear of being invisible. Fear of being average. The market felt that from him like heat and handed him the exact pain he was trying to outrun. Avery called it out without judgment. You're still trying to win approval you didn't get somewhere else. The market doesn't give it. All it can give you is feedback. He thought about his childhood. Parents who loved him but graded with hard lines. A cousin who always won trophies. Lucas grew up chasing gold stars that kept moving further away. He brought that chase into trading and wondered why he couldn't breathe. On day 16, CPI day, the room downstairs buzzed like a beehive. The chat would have been a siren. Lucas never opened it. He sat with his pre-market page. Today I am not competing. Today I am executing. He marked his levels. He marked his stops. He promised himself he would not add size no matter what happened. The release hit. Price exploded, then snapped back. He felt the familiar urge to prove he could catch the whole move. He read his sticky note again. If it's mine, it will appear again. Then it did. A second chance pullback to a fair value gap he knew by heart. He entered. Risk fixed. He took partials. He let the last piece stop out. He closed the platform and went for a walk while others still fought the storm. When he returned, he checked messages out of curiosity. The room was split between heroes and casualties. For the first time in months, he didn't feel behind either group. He felt free. On the final day of the fast, he wrote a document he called The Personal Edge. It was not a list of setups. It was a contract with himself. I trade 3 instruments and 3 patterns because depth beats breadth. I wait for confirmation because patience increases expectancy more than prediction. I risk a fixed fraction because my future self deserves protection from my present mood. I score the day by how I showed up, not what I earned, because money lags behavior. I am not in a race. The only metric that compounds is self-respect. He printed it and taped it to the wall. The fast ended, but Lucas didn't go back to the feed. He didn't hate it, he just didn't need it. When he did check in, he saw the game clearly. Screenshots were advertisements. Highlights were edited. Leaderboards were filtered for survivorship. None of it was evil. It just wasn't the work. The work was boring in the best way. Repetition with awareness. A month later, he bumped into Avery again. He told her the results. Fewer trades. Slightly lower win rate. Higher expectancy. Higher peace. He laughed at that word, peace. Who comes to the market seeking peace? But that's what showed up when he stopped trying to impress ghosts. Avery raised an eyebrow. So who are you competing with now? Yesterday's version of me, Lucas said. He's tough, but fair. He still felt the pull sometimes. A friend would post a monster day and the old itch would return. When it did, he used a small ritual he called mute and mirror. Mute the feed for 24 hours. Mirror the behavior you admire in your own plan. If someone sized big on a clean A+ setup, he didn't chase their size. He upgraded his selectivity. If someone held longer by conviction, he didn't chase their conviction. He clarified his rules for holding the last piece. He turned comparison into curriculum instead of competition. He also built an index he reviewed weekly, the Personal Integrity Score. 5 questions, 2 points each. Did I trade the written plan? Did I honor max loss and stop after it? Did I avoid impulsive ads and revenge trades? Did I wait for my market, my time, my pattern? Did I journal the truth, not the excuse? 10 points meant green. 8 meant yellow. Below 7 meant step back and trade half size next week. It wasn't punishment. It was respect for the part of him that needed space to reset. His equity curve began to look different. Not a rocket. A staircase. A month with one standout week. A week with one standout day. Most days nothing special, and that was the point. He used to believe the winners were the people who moved fastest. He learned the winners were the people who could sit in a room full of noise, hear their own name, and answer only to that. If you're caught where Lucas was, here's your way out. Run a 7-day comparison fast, no social feeds or P&Amp L until the session ends. Pick 3 instruments and 3 patterns. Nothing else for a week. Use the 30-120 rule, no trades first, 30 minutes, 120 seconds between idea and click to run the checklist. Score your day on setup quality, emotional state, rule adherence. Post that score on your wall. Create one sticky note for your screen. If it's truly my edge, it will appear again. You don't have to quit the world. You don't have to live in a cave. You just need a door you can close when the noise gets loud and a mirror you're not afraid to look into. Lucas didn't become a celebrity. He didn't go viral. He did something rarer. He learned to trade without needing the market to fix a feeling. He learned to let other people be fast while he became accurate. He learned that the only leaderboard that matters is the one you face when the screen is off. Did I keep my word to myself? The prison of comparison never locked from the outside. It waited for you to step in and hold the door. The key was always in your hand. Open it. Walk back to your own path. Trade it one honest decision at a time.